And boom, baby, we are live. And man, we are delayed. Goodness gracious. But those who were hitting me up, where's it live? Where's it live? I do appreciate you guys. Of course, I wouldn't leave you high and dry, at least without some form of announcement. Of course, had some delays on my side, some issues I was trying to handle in office. You're back in IET, and then of course we're back. It's always touch and go. It's always playing it by ear, right? Schedules are tricky to adhere to specifically. But again, those who are reaching out, do appreciate you guys. And those who are watching this after the fact, always know that you can catch us around 11 a.m. ish. At that ish, just so it's not held against me if we're a little behind. And on Sundays, where we talk what we're going to talk about, which is Haiti biz news, economic issues impacting entrepreneurs, impacting lay people, impacting everybody who's looking to do activity in the country, maybe even charity work. So we're here to talk about that in particular, provide specific business stories. We're trying to do, in effect, Haiti Bloomberg on a budget, right? So, of course, welcome. Those who are coming into the chat right now, welcome. We have lots to talk about. This was a very active week for activity, and certainly looking forward to diving into it this week. And of course, those who are able to catch us live, it's a good thing because I read all comments live on air. And that's a conversation. It's a conversation we're trying to have. So the more folks we have on stream, the more folks providing their perspective, their experiences, the better it is. So welcome. Today is the 26th of January. We got a real impactful day in front of us here. Of course, we got to talk about some very base items. Of course, we have to touch base on. We got to mention, of course, YouTube Seejeanty. We had the last thing we dropped formally was the conversation we had with Pierre Stanley Baptiste, who was working on his book, Underdog Revolution. For those who haven't watched that video yet, it's really, folks who have watched it told me to say they really appreciated the interview. They've learned quite a bit, because again, Pierre Stanley provides perspective as I said, really great partnerships with folks who wrote in the amount of hours and able to help and assist have really been phenomenal. And so if you haven't watched that video, make it a point, do watch it. Of course, now that I'm back in country, we have a lot of real cool content we're rolling out. A lot of folks I'm reaching out to. Some real cool stories we're looking to provide from an entrepreneurial level. So again, if you haven't shared the stream in a while, if you haven't shared the channel in a while, definitely do so this year. We got some real cool stuff we're looking to drop and looking to get into. I'm really excited, really excited for what's in store. Of course, Haiti Biz News website, the site, of course, Haiti Biz News, Haiti, biznews.com. There you go. Those who are watching it on YouTube Live and Facebook Live, you can see the stream right underneath there. You can see it, Haiti, biznews.com. And what we do, we go across the interwebs, we grab business-related stories as it relates to Haiti, and we pull them into one spot, one-stop shop, one place for you to read. And now I got to update you guys on something. It's no longer strictly in English, right? Come to find out that the app we developed was hitting using an API, Google API, that actually charges quite a bit of money to process data on their servers. In particular, the API we were using was Google Translate. It was Google Translate API, and it was being done and the translation was being done on Google servers. And so, for every megabyte processed, there's certain costs associated with it. They got pretty darn expensive. So that little tidbit of it being in English, unfortunately, isn't happening anymore. But I can tell you what, you still can make your content English. All you have to do for free is attach Google Translate if you're using Chrome, and you should be using Chrome. What are you? Or you're using Netscape, etc. On your Google Chrome browser, you can attach a plugin that with the click of a button, you can say, hey, translate everything French, right? Just literally, it's a Google Chrome plugin, Google Translate, absolutely free. And then for those who aren't proficient in French, You can, whenever French comes on your browser, automatically translate it for you. So it's free. Does it cost me a thing? Does it cost you a thing? All right, but still, the website is still functioning though, still doing its job in terms of bringing information all over the web relates to business and economic situation in the country in the one place for you. So in HaitiBizNews.com. And of course, for those who are coming in right now, share the stream. The value of the stream of this informational session only multiplies with more folks who are watching concurrently with more folks who are providing their input. We already had some folks while I was preparing some things who were providing some comment. Eve, Arisathen, hello. Definitely good afternoon. I can't say good morning, good afternoon. Good to see you. Shanamil, good to Shanamil. Shana Yamil. Hello, good afternoon to you. And I got some folks coming into the IG Live. Definitely folks who are coming through. Hello. Good to see you. Good to be, glad that you're on and able to catch the stream today, right? So, all right, so let's just jump into the stories, right? Let's jump into the stories impacting Haiti and Haiti's economic history. But of course, got to briefly talk about, some of the things happening on the political front. And mainly, I can tell you that the country has been calm. Even myself, as I drive about and I do things, I do errands, it's back to how things have always been, very quiet, very calm. Folks are going about with their lives. But the thing is that the calm has allowed certain things that were happening in the areas it's always been happening to really come back to light and really become focused. And in some of the areas that we've always been an issue, Matissa has always been an issue. La Saline has always been an issue. Port Leogan has always been an issue. This is nothing new. I want folks to think it's just but to be fair, there has been a growth in banditry in these areas while the country has been in crisis for the past year and a half, 2 years. The police have had their handful trying to keep protests and other things happening across the country. And those areas that have always been hard to control just went, imagine a weed that's been able to just grow without any sort of restriction. And that's sort of what's happening in Matissa right now. And I can tell you it's a lot of folks don't want to travel. Already, Matissa, for those who don't know, Matissa is a strip of area that literally, as you start to leave Port-au-Prince and you're headed towards Kafu, that's what Matissa is. And it's been, not only has it been particularly violent of late, right, for the people who live there. My heart goes out for the Haitians who live there. But in addition, Chamas and other areas have had a spike in, issues. I know, for example, there's a recent story where the Court of Cassation, which is the High Court of Haiti, has had to, on a few different occasions, had to stop their session because bandits have either threatened them or even entered the premise and forced them to hold court elsewhere, hold their sessions elsewhere in other places in Port-au-Prince. That tells you something. That is incredibly, there's a word for it, where you have the High Court unable to function because of bandits operating outside. And that tells you just about everything you know about those particular pockets but are increasing in their instability, right? We're certainly hoping that something is done now that the police aren't dealing with constant protests and political strife. They can generally focus on providing security in those areas. And more importantly, there needs to be more than just police in these areas. These people need opportunities particularly perhaps more than other places, honestly, because the way you counter violence and banditry is by investing in education in areas, by investing in community programs, by investing in infrastructure, just baseline things that needs to allow folks who are trying to work to be able to quickly and safely get from where they work to the centers of employment, right? I know, for example, Colombia was having an issue with a lot of their fringe communities, their shanty towns, sort of, and what they did is that they built telephoniques, basically they built these how do you call these things? Telephonique. That's the word I know. It's basically these cable lines with these carts, right? And they're able to these folks are able to literally just hopscotch the roads, the danger, and get to their communities and out of their communities to work at ease, right? And so something like that, certainly, and for Kafu, it's always been a place that's very been difficult to navigate coming in and out just because of traffic, much less, what's been happening lately. It's certainly, that is the direction to go. Police is the first wave, but the wave that's going to actually fix things and provide a solution is what's going to actually provide a solution. Let's turn this on. There we go. Is proper investment in providing the people of those communities different avenues, so crime isn't the only way out. Right. And additionally, we have the U.S. calling for elections. To Jovenel, Mike Pompeo recently in a interview with the Miami Herald and El Nuevo Herald, the Spanish paper, they've been asking for elections to be held. Right. It's only natural and right in democracy. If there is, I think there's understanding that things were very unstable across the country for a long time, and so it wasn't feasible necessarily the whole election. But now things are quiet. The U.S. and this is the highest level, Mike Pompeo, the Department Secretary of State, is asking for the election to happen. Now, Kupapa Sambali, I would expect things to be done, right? Because obviously, Jovenel doesn't respect any institutions, any Haitian institutions, right? To make that clear with the fact that he's disregarded several Petrocaribe inquiries where his name is cited, and he's each round he's at this point he's basically totally cast aside the independent group that had done an investigation and are asking now for an outside group. And so now Jovenel, who's shown that King Moise, that he only really respects outside institutions, when the top head institution of Secretary of State of the U.S. speaks, we are going to see now what the response is. And of course, this is partly in response to King Moise's announcement that he was going to redo the Constitution before the year is done by referendum. So we'll ultimately see how that goes, and now that the U.S. has declared a position, we'll see how that goes. But of course, he did also announce, before the end of the year, that he was going to hold elections. And this was before Mike Pompeo spoke. So, but we certainly will see. Interesting development though. King Moise sacked Claude Gasson. Gasson was the anti-corruption commission director, who was very much known, and I think a lot of people actually were very happy that he was nominated and accepted the position of the corruption commission because of the fact that he, for a long time, had a very large radio presence where he denounced and reported upon corruption, and it was a very loud advocate for a less corrupt government, legislative and executive body, parliamentary and legislative body. And so we'll see now. We're looking to see some action, and some of the things that he was doing. He was pushing for all public officials, including King Moise, to publicize assets, right, that they've had. Bear in mind why this is important is because part of the election process in Haiti, you have elected officials must, again, I'm saying again, elected officials must declare not only their assets, but then where they receive their campaign funds. Now, King Moise never did that, right? Let's be clear, King Moise never ever did that, right? And so, and additionally, he was looking himself to interject himself more in the Seejeanty corruption, I can't even call it a case, accusations, right? Because one of the things that has led King Moise to take over all of the previously privately ran, not privately owned, they're still publicly owned, but privately ran electricity sites of Seejeanty, E-Power, High-Track, was what? Was the fact that he was accusing them of corruption. Now, Claude Gasson, obviously, this would have fallen in his wheelhouse, wanted to take a look at the files and to see and perhaps try or generally recommend some these folks to be arrested, right? But that didn't happen because he's fired. And then the other big spat that happened early December was between him and the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Monsieur Bouchit. I'm not cursing. That's how you say his name. All right. He was called to Claude Gasson's office to answer some questions related to certain things Gasson was trying to find out. Right, and he refused. He refused that he had no authority over him. Right. So Mr. Foreign Affairs, Mr. Bouchit, is a very close and loyal ally of President Moise, right? Probably his closest ally in his entire cabinet right now, right? And so for all those reasons, Claude Gasson is out. New individual is in. Is it even worth me saying his name? I don't know. I don't know how long he's gonna last, right? Because when it comes to fighting corruption, anyone who's generally effective seems to find the door out pretty quickly, right? So I think corruption is fine. So funny how that works, right? So it's real time. The International NGO Transparency Index, right? Say it again, International NGO Transparency Index, one of many institutional bodies that ranks corruption across the world, has Haiti in 168th place, down 7 places from last year, in the worst position in Latin Americas, right? And of course, none of this is surprising. Some in the context is a little interesting, where we have 2/3 of the world saw corruption rankings unchanged or decreased, which is very interesting, right? And with G7 countries in particular regressing, right? The U.S. itself actually is in a spot that is interesting, lower than Canada by a significant amount. Canada is 77 out of 100, where and the United States is 64 out of 100. And the reason why there's a big difference is the perception, rightly or wrongly, more rightly, that the rich in America are able to buy votes, right? Super PACs and the fact that there's very little regulation and caps or limits of the use of those things have really, muddied the electoral process in America in a way that no Americans have really come to grips yet or really appreciated or really fought against. But but this is not American business. This is Haiti business. We'll move on. But interestingly, Cuba is actually the highest ranking. Actually, it's ranked, 60th in the world, which again is a lot of countries. And the next big economic country here is Dominican Republic on the list, and they're ranked at 137th, not too far from us, right? So DR is pretty. Let's be clear, DR has made incredible progress in their economic environment and condition, but I don't think any DR will tell you, it's an uncorrupt place. And I'm sure one of my DR friends will come on and comment and provide their perspective on that, right? So that is we're going to end that chunk of news, right? And basically, bring it to you guys. Any surprise there? Anybody generally surprised of those conditions, particularly as it relates to corruption? I don't think anyone will be, right? Eve did ask something since we've wrapped up the political sort of segment, which is he said that also, have you heard about kidnapping case in Haiti family and I relocated from Brooklyn to DR. My mother, who's in Haiti, is telling us it's not safe to come visit because of kidnapping. So the most prominent story that's happened recently has been a Haitian native businessman who resided in Kafu, but I had business in Lower Delma. I think he was kidnapped actually in Delma 27, which is, as you know, is pretty low, though not particularly low. I think once you start getting to Denmark 19, you're in pretty shady, and insecurity raises exponentially. Every digit you go down lower, right? And he was kidnapped, and the end result wasn't good, right? We'll leave it at that. But I think what we have to understand here is what we've always understood, which is there's certain areas of Haiti that is unsafe, right? There's certain, like if I'm in Chicago, I'm going to tell you, don't go to Englewood. Straight up. If you're in Miami, I'm going to tell you at 2 a.m., make sure your car doesn't break down in Overtown. You hear me? Right? I'm sure my New York friends, I don't know where it is. They've never lived in New York. I'm sure somebody in New York would be able to tell me, hey, 2 a.m. at night, make sure your car doesn't break down in such and such place in New York, right? There's certain spots in every single place that exists where human beings exist, where you don't want to be at certain times of day and certain times during the week, whatever. And in those areas, okay, let's be clear, in those areas, insecurity has gone up even more than usual, right? But for folks in 90% of, 95% maybe, life is going on, business is business as usual. Now, there is a hashtag movement that started, hashtag, Matisan IC2, I forget the specific hashtag, but it's a focus where folks are trying to get attention to what's going on in areas like Matisan, because I think it can't be forgotten. Because when you live in Pigeonville, when you live up in the mountains of Tamasin and Kinskoff, truly millions of miles away from the pains and sufferings of the people who have to live in the Matisan area, have to commute through there, etc. So it becomes, it's not bothering me, right? And so it's important to share these stories because at the end of the day, the only entity that can do anything in this country, minus another UN occupation, is the Haitian government and is the PNH, the Haitian police force. And so that needs to happen, right? So to answer your question, Evie, simply, you come to Haiti, just don't be in Matisan, right? Come to Haiti, but don't be hanging out and shooting shit in Chamas for no reason, right? Come to Haiti, but don't necessarily be playing dominoes in La Saline, okay? Come to Haiti, but don't just decide to pull up a lawn chair and hang out in Port Leogan, right? These are all areas that are unsecured, okay? So let's be very, very clear on that, right? And I am seeing something funny with my stream. I am seeing something out there. I'm seeing new comments, but let's see, I'm able to see the comments if folks are writing things. Let me try to hit a refresh. Hopefully it won't mess me up too bad. Okay, there we go. There we go. I was missing a lot of chats. Woo! I had a lot of chats in there. Sorry, guys. I wasn't able to view these chats in here. But anyways, I think I wrapped up. I got to the point of what I was saying. But let me go up and see what everybody was saying here. For some reason, it wasn't loading until I refreshed my page. Let's take a look here. All right, I answered that question from Evie. You got Shana Mio. Yep. To address that. Let's see. This must be on Haitian Times. Oh, yeah. Oh, some folks are talking about my time. Yeah, y'all leave me alone. Yep, Google Translate, good stuff. Folks are responding to that. You can use Google Translate for the Haitian Biz website. Cable cars, absolutely. That's another way to reference the telephonique that I was trying to express. My friend from DR Wow Videos says, well, I hope Clean Moise Constitution for good. We have talked about this before. It will be great. It will make a good place for investments, hotels, etc. And let's see. Liz says, thank you for clarifying. My parents never do what I do. They just say it's unsafe to go. Of course, Asian parents will say that. That's their job. All right. I think I cut my foot. Put some knock on that later. Let's see. Let's see. And then, okay, we got wild videos. My friend from DR, what does he say? He says, yes, we have corruption in DR. Not all Latin America is corrupt, but you see Puerto Rico, America's territory is the worst of them all. The thing is how much corruption you can handle. You know, just corrupt too. All right, that's my friend from DR's perspective on the corruption happening in DR. Okay, all right. We'll take it from what it is. We'll take it for what it is from you. Appreciate that comment. All right. Okay. All right. All right, let's keep it moving. Let's keep it moving. All right. So next big story: population growth in Haiti. Right. I mentioned this on my Instagram. If you haven't followed my Instagram, make sure you do. I talked about this earlier this week, where literally we have Haiti is officially and formally the most populous country in the Caribbean. Right now, of course, it's hard to say what the exact number is. All these are estimates. I mean, heck, when you go to the what is that called? The U.S. Census. When you understand what the U.S. Census is, it's a very much abstract. They go by census tracts, not an individual head count. And for example, within a census tract, which can be like 20, 30 houses, if one house on that block has internet, they'll say that whole census block has internet. And then so you can aggregate that sort of behavior up to really say, okay, do we really know the percentage of people with the internet or with that? It's just for example, other stats also relate. And additionally, it's a sample size. Of course, those who understand statistics, as long as something is IID, independently pulled from a representative demographic body, you can then extrapolate the behavior of the larger body from that sample size. Cool, you get it. But it's still an estimate. It's still an estimate. Excuse me. It's still an estimate, right? So, for the folks when I reported this before, how can you even count the numbers? There's all estimates. The best methods are still estimates. But nonetheless, the estimates. If I'm telling you, the estimates are probably much lower than what it really is. What it really is probably much higher, right? I can tell you. So that's just an interesting factoid, and it really expounds the importance of the need for economic growth in the country, because as you have more and more people, the per capita wealth decreases, especially since we're in an environment. Since last year, we actually had negative growth, and in most years, even on our good years, we have maybe 1.5% GDP growth, while we're experiencing close to 2 to 2.5 to 3% population growth, which is a tremendous problem, right? A tremendous problem, and is utterly unsustainable, right? And other countries aren't unique in Latin America, are not unique. For example, DR is experiencing some growth, but at least they have the GDP growth to support it, right? And but altogether, the island Hispaniola is going to be the most populous island in the Caribbean, which in and of itself is honestly a tremendous opportunity. It's a tremendous opportunity because we have a market that's that large. A big part of what makes China attractive, a big part of what makes India attractive, a big part of what has allowed America to be so powerful has been the population, right? We have over a billion in China, over a billion in India, and America at 300 million is much larger than other countries like France and Germany, who are sitting between 50 to 30 million in size, right? So I think it's a massive opportunity, particularly when it comes to a labor market, when it comes to outsourcing potentially and leveraging the incredible talent that's here. I've been talking about that for a long time. And I think it's an incredible opportunity that the population growth in Haiti has. But still, the lack of hospitals, the lack of medical destinations, the lack of a lot of things that the population, even if it was smaller, would be a strain the increase of the population is going to be a problem. So that's something certainly we should take note of. But I view the population as an incredible opportunity, the increase in population, incredible opportunity that hopefully we will be able to take advantage of, right? So some news that certainly is certainly optimistic. King Moise did announce a few months ago that he was looking to have the Shanmas area have free Wi-Fi. Shanmas area, of course, for those who don't know, it's the downtown area of Port-au-Prince where a lot of young men, women frequent. The University of Haiti is right adjacent to the Shanmas, and they announced a lot of things happen in Shanmas, brother. For example, the Carnival is happening, and it's going to be held in Shanmas. And he announced a few months ago that he was going to have free internet there, and a lot of people laughed. This dude is talking, but he actually did it. Again, I'm not for King Moise or against King Moise. I'm for advancement of Haiti, and he actually came through. And he's so far they've announced that over 10,000 people have used the pilot project of Wi-Fi. They're looking to expand it now to not just be around one particular area, but the entirety of Shanmas, from Sin Triomphe to the Minister of Commerce to the Minister of the Interior. So again, that very large, just literally just do Shanmas, and you'll see that entire area and they expect that to happen in October. October is when they expect the entire Shanmas to have complete free internet. And this is being led by Conatel, which is the really the regulation body of Haiti. But apparently they do also establish their own internet services as well, independent of the current internet and Wi-Fi providers of Access Haiti, Natcom, Digicel, etc. Right? So that's good news. And one of the big things Haiti needs, the Haitian youth needs, is access to internet. And that's one thing, actually, if they could, in addition to schools, in addition to other things, if they can put, if King Moise or the next administration could work on putting free Wi-Fi in these poor areas, such as Matissan, such as La Saline, such as Port Léogane, and continue to expand it and focus on these poor areas, I think that would be a very important push for the development of these areas. I mean, you have some countries that have made internet a human right, right? I think there's the Netherlands or Denmark. Someone correct me here, but internet truly, for those who understand the earning potential what internet can do, it is something that is as impactful and needed as water, electricity, and other things, right? So I think hats off. It's an important story to share, and certainly in October we hope to report that that initiative is finished, and all of Shanmas will have free Wi-Fi. And I'll personally, hopefully things will be a little calmer, but I'll personally drive to Shanmas, connect my phone, and I'll be able to tell you if it's a fast internet or not. It's one thing to have Wi-Fi. Is it fast? Is it fast enough to watch? My test of good internet speed is, can I watch a YouTube video, right? Can I watch YouTube? If I can watch YouTube, I think it will be a pretty good internet service, right? So, and additionally, another internet story is that the Haiti coach lines have expanded their internet coverage. Now, previously, someone who's used the coach line that connects the Port-au-Prince to San Domingo, I was always in awe that I could be on the internet that entire drive from both the Haitian side and, of course, especially when you're in DR, it's even faster and more efficient. And then these coach lines have internet, which is awesome. So it's just been announced that there's at least 3 different coach lines. I gotta find out which coach lines these are specifically, so I can share that with you guys, that are now providing, and this was reported by the Digital Observatory, which is a think tank that tracks this sort of stuff, that we have coach lines from Port-au-Prince to Cap-Haïtien that now provides internet along the route, which is I don't think you guys appreciate how incredible feat this is. First off, it was done privately amongst these coach lines, number one. Number two, when you understand how mountainous Haitian terrains are, anyone has ever taken a bus from Port-au-Prince to Cap Haitien, and I have, myself and my wife, we both took a bus ride to Cap Haitien and back. And I said, never again. I'd rather fly to Cap Haitien. It was a very rocky, very nervous. I mean, the roads are much better, from as I understand now, but still, there's parts along that road where literally you look out the window and you see the Grand Canyon. Like I'm talking, the guy would sneeze on the wheel. It's a long fall, right? And so to say it's very mountainous, right? And mountains, as you know, is a very big deterrent to broadcast signals, right? And the fact that they have in effect, Wi-Fi routers throughout the path from Cap Haitien to Port-au-Prince and back is truly and generally an impressive feat in of itself, just because of the logistics of what that entails, right? So that's a big deal, because again, for those who are productive as myself, being able to stay connected and be able to do work while you're on the road is a big Z factor, a big improvement to the productivity of Haitians, particularly those who are doing things and looking to stay productive while they're doing things, right? Traveling between there and back, right? And additionally, too, we have some stories related to electricity, but let's take a quick pause and let's see what folks are saying here in the chat, right? We got Willine Pierre, good to see you, good to see you. Biggest problem right now is insecurity, that we have to pass through Matissan to go through most other departments. That is true, that is true. Shannon Mills says, I remember having to pass through Matissan to go to Jacmel. That is true, that's true. We have Lawrence Styles, good to see you, brother, saying, wait, I said this long ago, the population is a huge problem. If it's not mitigated or curtailed, it's unsustainable. And Mark Jarvis called me neocon. Why are you going to call that guy's out like that? Listen, somebody called me neocon. You have to call him out specifically like that. And Lawrence follows up and says, how will they sustain the bandwidth? Okay, well, let me address Lawrence's first comment about population size. And certainly, I think it's a matter of tone and context, right? I think certainly population is unsustainable given the amount of resources that exist. Certainly providing the poor, those who really are unable to take care of their children because their income is so low. I mean, here's a stat that's really important you should know. Over 80% of children in orphanages are in orphanages not because they're parentless. 80% are in orphanages have at least one living parent or grandparent, right? So they have family, but the family gave them up to orphanages because the family felt that they're unable to financially provide for them and felt that the orphanage could provide for them much better, right? Just to put in context, the situation here, right? So certainly providing, pushing family planning to those who are not yet ready for families is an important step forward. Condoms, contraceptives, Plan Bs, I mean, you name it. In addition to abortion services for those who are, perhaps in situations where their life is in danger, or situations such as rape, things of that sort. All these things come into the fold when we're talking about, family planning, in addition to incentivizing. You have to go as far as China, saying, hey, one-child policy, but certainly make it incentivize those who perhaps, for a given income, have only one child, and they get tax breaks or tax credits. There's certain ways to incentivize that, without a hard rule in place, right? But I guess my point was saying that the tone of those who say, oh, these folks just need to not have kids. Careful when you say stuff like that, right? Right, because we know the full historical context of that in America, in particular, and in the West. You got to be careful by saying that. But certainly taking an approach where, okay, well, we have a large population. Yes, we should have this one particular string of family planning, but also what can we do to increase the pie, right, for the folks who are currently there? And third, how do we address the fact that in every other place where there's a large population, it's viewed as an asset, except when it's people blacker complexion, then it becomes a problem, right? That's something we have to address and to really say, okay, how can we generally be equal and fair across the board and say, this is potentially an opportunity if folks could get in and the government could make it easier to establish outsourcing companies, right? Call centers, things of that sort, that really leverage, and also textiles and manufacturing, things that really could be labor intensive before it's too late. Because before we sneeze, 10, 20 years later, between the increased automation of manufacturing, between the Siri and the AIs. I was watching something already 2 years ago now. It's already 2 years old, where folks could call a pizza shop and an AI, a voice, computer will take your order, right? So that means that there's less of a need for a live person if a computer can actually take your order. And that's just the start. I think we'll blink within 20 years, even that part will be automated. So I think it's really important that government takes advantage of the fact that human labor still is the preferred way to go before it's too late, before it's no longer that way, right? So yeah, that's my perspective on that, Lawrence. And then Lawrence's second comment: how will this sustain the bandwidth and the Wi-Fi? It would be dope with free internet versus regular electricity. I prefer electricity. I prefer both. I prefer both, Lawrence. I think we should both push for electricity. Which, by the way, it's pretty known that those areas have received a disproportionate higher amount of electricity. La Saline, Chamas, Matisan. Actually, those areas, I'm not saying there's not a blackout in those areas like every other place, but those areas tend to receive a disproportionate amount of electricity for the simple fact that there's an understanding that when these folks in these villas don't receive electricity, they're not even paying for it, but they get mad and things happen. Roads are blocked. Manifestations that could be a level 1 become a level 10, right? Because of this pent up frustration. So there is understanding between the government and these areas that, we're going to make sure we provide as much electricity as our little bit of electricity capacity can provide disproportionately. So let's be clear. And I certainly think that as investments continue, I'm going to talk about electricity, some stories related to that in a moment. I think that tendency should continue, but there's an important part. Wi-Fi without the capacity to charge the phones and charge the laptops that are going to be connected to these things is pretty ineffective, right? So yeah, that's as much as I can say about that. I remember when I was young, I used to go skate on Shanmas. That's what I hear. I hear Shanmas used to be a whole different. Shanmas was basically the Central Park of Haiti, by all accounts, particularly in the Duvalier regime, because Duvalier lived in the palace that resided right there in Shanmas, and of course he ruled with the iron fist. Security wasn't a problem at that point. But again, I always use this analogy. I'm not talking fondly of the Duvalier era, because a great analogy used to be people used to tell me, well, yeah, it used to be quiet during the Duvalier regime, but it's pretty quiet in the cemetery, right? Meaning, yeah, it's quiet. Yeah, it was secure, but there was a whole lot of death coming from one place, him, right? To make it that way, right? So that's my perspective on that. Goal 2020 says, I think the population is a resource of Haiti. Invested in its people. GDP would boom. Wealth is built on the accumulation of knowledge. That's how the U.S. Do it. China did it, right? And the U.S. economy is 70% consumer. Absolutely right. Totally agree with you. I guess that's why it's a massive asset. People in economics, it's a massive asset. Massive, right? If we can get the domestic economy going, we can produce more, import less, right? Start educating these people, educating all these people, make education a top priority, STEM in particular, right? Invest and make sure not just give it lip service, not just build schools, but make sure these schools are fully invested, have as all the devices and all the computer equipment and all the access that these schools should have. In addition, leverage new technology, leverage the fact that so much I mean, Harvard and MIT provide, curriculum for free online. So there's, you can get a Ivy League education for free. All you need is a strong internet connection to be able to teach these students, strong curricula, right? So absolutely, it's certainly possible, right? It was pretty nice in the 80s. Change in 30 years is remarkable. I certainly agree. The overall, um, you know, the aesthetics of the country decreased, in addition to other things, certainly. And certainly we wish that things could have kept up on a trajectory that was considerably more positive, unlike today. So I certainly agree with you, Lawrence. Let's keep moving. So we have some electricity stories. So the pedigree improvements have completed. I am a person when things are announced, I don't necessarily like to report on them until they're finished, and it's been announced that it's finished. With the pedigree, I would say peg. I was added extra G in there, but the pedigree improvements, what they were, the power lines. Power lines were improved. Cables, insulators, there's reconstruction of double overhead wires were redone at 16 pylons. And then they also built a very large chunk of underground circuitry in Delma, within Delma, through to an area called Lila Voie, right? So, and this was started in 2014, predominantly with funding from the IDB to the tune of 23.5 million USD. And most importantly, though they had foreign companies as consultants, the work was done by Haitian firms Technique Industrielle Agricole SA and Entreprise de Construction Électromécanique SA. These two companies, Haitian-owned companies, that use Haitian labor, did the actual work, and there is an understanding that they should be able to do work like this in the future in much more independent capacity, right? So certainly good news. I can tell you, being in Haiti now for about a week, I can tell you that the electricity situation has more or less been stable. We've been getting power here by the Haitian standard. Believe it or not, when I tell you this number, this is actually a good number. About 12 hours a day. That's pretty darn good. Let me knock on wood here, right? Pretty darn good. Versus when I had left, when the first fighting between the King Moise's government and the electricity producers, right before I left in December for a chunk of time. Literally, we were going 3-4 days without electricity. Okay, so again, I'm telling you, we're getting 12 hours a day versus going 3 days, 4 days without nothing. So understand my perspective when I say we're in a very good place right now, right? And that's in part because of the government has taken over and is operating the power plants that the private producers were doing, and also these improvements I just reported, right? Additionally, Mexico has announced that they are going to aid Haiti push its electricity environment, right? The Minister of Foreign Affairs of Mexico has announced that that they will be sending experts to help establish lines of work, i.e., look for projects to potentially fund or help with. In particular, they really want to push renewables as much as possible to establish solar panels. In addition, they're looking to provide lines of credit for energy providers and projects, and also provide scholarships, starting off with 25 to Haitians to study in Mexico to further advance their studies related to energy, right? Maybe electricity, maybe whatever it may be, to help facilitate improvement in the capacity in these students and folks, right? So again, very, very much needed. And the galvanization of efforts toward electricity, which I'll give King Moise that credit as well. The fact that he has, I think one thing that those who criticize US NGOs and USAID and et cetera. One reason why Rwanda was able to advance to the quickness that it has been was because of really many things, but one thing in particular was the fact that NGOs had guidelines. They had directives that they had to follow. Number one, and so the country said, okay, here's what we want. We want this. In our case, electricity. In Rwanda's case, we're looking for improvements in agriculture and infrastructure. Here's what we want. Those who can provide it will get a streamlined process to get registered. And those who can't won't be registered in my country. It's just that simple. Either you're helping with the government's agenda, the priorities of the government to help its people, right? Or you're not, and you're not going to be in the country. You're not going to be a partner, right? And I think those who've criticized NGOs in large part haven't realized that the reasons why NGOs have been so disconnected, disjointed, and working so ineffectively, right? Some are, but many weren't, and a lot of them were taking advantage of Haiti, the poverty economy of Haiti, was because there was no direction, no directive from the government saying, hey, this is what we need, right? And those who can help us, right, will be appreciated. And that's certainly what to King Moise's credit, he's made that very clear. Here's what the country needs. We want electricity, right? And those who criticize the 24/24 failure, rightly so, but at the very least, the conversation and the tone of what the government needs and wants has been made clear, and people are moving, entities are moving to fulfill that. And ultimately, hopefully, the winner will be the Haitian people, right? So that's an important point, a very important point to make, right? So let's take a pause and see what folks are saying in the chat. Let's see what folks are saying in the chat. For those who are on IG, hello, don't be shy now. Come on, say something. I'll read it on there, right? Let's see. Let's read up a little bit. We have Evie saying, what are your thoughts on starting a cooperative fund for the Haitian diaspora, Haitian entrepreneurs to practice group economics? I think it's great. I think it's certainly something that I would like to be a part of in the future. But as it stands right now, my emphasis is creating my own ventures that I can have less tit and tat for. Because one thing when group activities is the gestion des autres leaders, right? It's the management of other very strong, usually type A people who have their own ideas of how things want to be done. And being a very type A, strong personality person myself, it's better that I focus on my own ventures specifically first before I can then sort of be a part of something where I can really try to dial that down and sort of deal with ultimately the politics. Whenever you have multiple people in something, so at some point it reaches the quantity where you call it politics, right? And as you folks, anyone who's ever worked in a corporation, stateside knows there is politics in entities, right? And so that's the one thing that has honestly prevented me from being directly part of starting something like that. I am part of things, but it's things that the line of leadership is a lot more streamlined and clear versus I think what you're talking about would be a lot of hands in the pot. And I just don't have the capacity to handle that, to be quite honest with you. But understand, I have this whole channel, and what we do here is really to provide information to folks to be able to do their own things, right? And of course, wherever I can provide information and processes, I'm there to help. But there's that final step where I would have to take time out and work with a lot of different people, a lot of investors. One thing with the Haitians in our community, a lot of people have very passionate, strong ideas, and they don't want to change them. And though I'm certainly apt to change what I want to do, I also want to do certain things first. And that's kind of where I'm at right now. but that's certainly something I'm interested in, and some point down the line, I am going to more actively try to advocate for. So thanks for that, Evie. I was thinking the other day, it's a great idea to open up an ice cream shop in Haiti, get your business. Yeah, I mean, listen, Haiti is virgin soil. Haiti is such a deficit for entrepreneurs and activity that there is an idea that you don't have that wouldn't potentially work. You just have to be able to persevere, because Haiti is a very difficult environment to do anything in, right? So if you're coming in thinking it's going to be a cakewalk and then you're going to fly out and someone's going to be handling your business, Haiti doesn't work like that. One of my first videos on Untitled is, the first thing I tell you, you cannot, Haiti's a jealous mistress. You cannot be a fly-by-night entrepreneur when it comes to Haiti. You have to have a plan where every week or every other week you're back in the country managing your business, right? And ideally you're in the country 24/7 managing your business, right? But so long as you have that in mind, and that willingness and that capacity to do that, then yeah, I think your business is going to do just fine, whatever and everything it may be. Now, I obviously have I think those who follow me long enough know that I have a preference for certain ventures, and in particular ventures that are externally faced outside the economy, either exporting or using human capital to interface with the world, outsourcing, etc. I think that's certainly the way to generally grow the economy, right? Such as basic economics. But nonetheless, there is still great opportunities just interfacing with the domestic economy. If done right, done intentionally, you can still be very successful and provide impactful jobs and opportunities for domestic local Haitians. Absolutely. All right. Gold says he also had a crowdfunding idea. Wild Video says Haiti needs to start investing in agriculture that help people and low-skilled people make an income, cocoa, coffee. Yeah, I agree with you. And we have a very interesting story we're going to be sharing in just a moment here that's going to key in on that. So, but great addition there. Right. We have Wild Video saying also Haiti has a climate to be an agricultural powerhouse. We have mountains for 1A coffee. Coca is making Dominican farmers rich. Vanilla is more expensive than coca. Avocado is good as well. All right. So thanks for the value added comments there, Wild Videos. I totally agree with you. Jan Hem says, glad to see the progress. Tamira Jimenez says, hello, just joining and looking forward to seeing my trip. Looking forward to the trip in Haiti. Awesome. Glad to see you're coming to Haiti. Things have quieted down, and certainly hope they stay. This is a long time away. Anything can happen. Certainly hope it continues to stay quiet. Certainly. Let's see. Maybe Chris can spread the spearhead. No, I think I've already expressed why. I'm not going to spearhead that. Not right now. I got my own ventures. I'm spearheading, but eventually I will do that. Let's see. And Luke says, I will visit Haiti soon. Sure. Listen, my contact information is below. I'm not sure, if I could meet you, but certainly whatever your project you're working on, if you have a particular project, you wanted to spitball that idea, and I can let you know how likely it is to succeed, and then certain pitfalls to avoid, and how to maximize your chance of success. Certainly, and email is the best way to get a hold of me and start that conversation. As you can imagine, I got a lot of stuff going on. If I would meet every single person who said they would like to meet me, I would never have time to even sleep. So, but certainly email, reach out by email. You see my contact below, and certainly I welcome any conversation. Let's see, Evie, okay, appreciate that. Let's see, our video says agriculture boosts the economy in rural areas, low-skilled people. The rich in DR were agriculture producers later on. They invested, made Banco popular today. Yeah, I agree. I certainly agriculture. I'm a big proponent in agriculture. In fact, one of the big initiatives I'm looking to start after my book is going to be much based on agriculture. I look forward, and I can tell you now, I look forward to very closely documenting that process. I look forward to very much starting a new series, and folks will see from the very beginning to where this is going to end up, how that process is. And no holds barred. I'm not going to hide anything from you. So I look forward to that project. That's at least a year down the line. but it's exciting me enough to want to hurry up and finish the stuff I'm working on now to get to it. So look out for that. We're only getting started. We got a lot of cool stuff we got planned on Seejeanty. Don't you worry about that, right? James Lubin says you'd be interested in something like that. And so Lawrence Gonzalez, group economics works eventually, but you need people who are already secure with their finances. Absolutely agree. Develop your own enterprises, join up in the group, play your money. That's a perspective, certainly. But I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it not so much of I don't want to work with folks in the group side because of the money. I'm just looking at it from the perspective of time and certainly the things that I know I can do much more quickly, much more effectively without dozens of people who may have very different views of how we should be moving versus down the road, whereas I'll have those initiatives already working, I'll be a little less impulsive to try to impose my will and vision and be much more collaborative and allow whatever becomes whatever we're working on to become more reflective of the group, right? I'm just talking from my perspective, and I'm sure there will still be people joining who do not have that emotional maturity to understand that when you're joining a group, it's not about you. When you're joining a group, it's about the group, what the group ultimately democratically decides. And in my experience with Haitians, anywhere and everywhere, we right? And so that's why I'm very reluctant to do anything like that right now. I'm sure as time goes on and I get older myself, my own patience to deal with that will increase. And honestly, I'm gonna have to do it because there is, the capacity for groups to impact exponentially larger than individuals by definition. And so certainly going that direction is a direction that has to be done, and I will be a part of something like that in the future. But right now, I'm not ready for it. So I think I'll put that to bed and not speak with it anymore. Lizzie, meet and greet. I should do a meet and greet. I really should. I really should. And I think next time I'm stateside, perhaps in March, I'll try to hold a little meet and greet, do another one like we did before. The other one was really cool. Had a good amount of showing, so look out for that. So RFP Prince, get up. What up? Good to see you. Good to see you, brother. Glad to have you in the chat. Lawrence Gonzalez, I'm an investment group now, and when people need money, their money, they freak out. Yeah, that's one aspect of things too, right? Right. So let's move on. And the final chunk of information really has to do with some really impactful business-related news that's happening. First off, the Association of Haitian Businesses have reported 721,000 individuals have cruised to Labadie since 2019. That's really it. That's the news line, right? But I can tell you, I just did a cruise in December. I made a point that I told my wife, listen, I can go anywhere. I don't mind where we go on a cruise, just as long as Labadie is on it, right? We went to about 4 different locations, really great time. But when I got to Labadie, the Royal Caribbean rents out the land that's there, and it's managed by a Haitian entity. But I can tell you that I got there, first off, and those who follow me on Instagram, I did a story on this. First off, how you in Haiti? And you don't got no prestige, man. How does that work? Y'all break that down to me, huh? Y'all tell me that. Secondly, because I'm talking about when you get off the boat and then you're on the beach, no prestige, number one. Number two, you have red stripe, right? I could consume Jamaican red stripe on Haiti's beaches, but I couldn't consume my national beer on my land, okay? On Haitian soil, Haitian sovereign soil, right? And I was mad, and I'm still mad about that. That's number one. I record. That's another thing. How does that work? How are you had Puerto Rican rum there, all right? I think, right? But there was no Haitian rum. How does that work? I don't understand. How does that work? I need to understand that. Somebody break that down to me. Somebody break that down to me. Somebody who has the personal contact of whoever runs Prestige now. Between, I think they got bought out, didn't they? Right? And the family that's running Rum Bourbon Corp. Y'all need to tell me how that happens, right? And I did a survey. They sent a survey to me, Royal Caribbean, and guess what I put? I said, "Yo, how are you in Haiti?" And I couldn't get Prestige, and I couldn't get a Rum Bourbon Corp. That doesn't make any sense, right? And that really undertones what I feel Labadie is. Yeah, great. We have 700,000 people visiting, but it's its own island. It doesn't mean anything for the local economy because these folks aren't allowed to leave to go to Cap Haiti and spend their dollars. They're not allowed to leave. It's a very sustained ecosystem. I remember because we took the cable, the what is that called? I think like the cable line that you go whizzing down the cable line, right? I forget the word for it. And to even go up there, it's on their road, and then the final place up that would take you to OCOP, you turn left, and you used to go back on their property. And right there, you have cops posted up. So while the cruise ship is in Labadie, they get very restrictive, and very few people are even allowed to come through because that same road that takes local Haitians to local shoreside beaches and places is more effectively. It's not blocked, but it's very restrictive, right? So there's a handful of Haitians that work there. I spoke with them, right? I made a point when I was on Labadie Beach. I said, qui j'en un système là, est-ce que ouais zone a bénéficié à petit business de job qui là, il dit ouais allié de nous quand yo là, nous c'est pas change, c'est on boost pour nous. And so individually, these people say it's helping them, but I counted maybe 30 Haitians working there, 30, 40 max. Remember, OCOP has, millions of people within the larger metro area. So and again, much of that money stays within that beach area and goes right back to Caribbean's pocket. And remember, they pay very on that land. It was a very cheap lease by the Duvalier, pennies on the dollar for like 99 years, some stupid amount of time, could even more. And so, yeah, I don't, personally, after going on the cruise and going to Labadie, it could have been anywhere, honestly. It could have been, Virgin Islands, it could have been Jamaica. I felt it was more Jamaican. It's that red stripe there, not Prestige. So what? Would be my thing. It's not helping the local economy there. It really isn't. I mean, reputationally, maybe. I like the fact that as I was walking around after we left, and even while we were there, people were saying, "Oh yeah, Haiti was great. We just came, yeah, Haiti." People talking on the phone. Well, that was a pretty good experience. Haiti, yeah, Haiti. So folks, for once, associating a positive experience, a personal positive experience with Haiti. That's priceless, right? I'll take that as a win, right? And some people can argue that's almost as important as the money being spent. But I also want money to be spent. I like both, right? I'm a guy, I like both things, okay? Right? So I think that's where I'm gonna end that piece of news. Wasn't, I still get very mad when I think about not having Prestige and Labadie, let me calm down. Woosa. Woosa. Okay, all right, let's move on. Private sector. So actually, not before then, speaking of Jamaica, we had several leaders of investment in Haiti at the 15th annual Jamaican Stock Exchange conference. Robert Pye Jr. was the head of Profin, the car company. We have a guy, Richard Ballade, who heads the managing director for the Caribbean Investor Capital, SA, and also Jean-Philippe Prosper, who is the head of Pro Capital Limited. These are all pretty large companies focused on investing in Haiti. And have really made a tremendous impact in some of the things, some of the perspectives, some of the how they've structured their entities under Profin, for example, to be a part of Profin. Anybody can be a part, by the way. Sort of imagine Goldman Sachs, like a Goldman Sachs of Haiti. If you have $1 million in cash that you would like to, give me a sec. Let me close this window here. Bear with me. Woo! Back. We're back. Had a spike of noise there. Usually I do remember to close this window of mine that's next to me. It helps prevent some of the noise. So I do apologize for that. So these folks were more or less there to help advance the opportunities that Haiti could have, Haitian investment firms could have, to impact environments, not only domestically for Haiti, but the funds that they use, which are Haitian funds, to improve the opportunity for Haitians to invest in a much more structured way. What does that mean? That means one big situation that happens why so many folks lose money when investing in Haiti is they have a cousin Popo. What do I get Popo? Seejeanty. We have cousin Seejeanty and Timac, who have just a crazy idea, and they loan them $1,000, but then never hear from them again. But that's not how you would invest in America. In America, you would buy stocks and shares of a company, or you provide your funds specifically to an investment company, right? And take care of things in that manner, in that way, right? And so it's been problematic that we never had these institutions formally. Within the past 3-4 years, we've had, right? In the past 3-4 years, we've had these improvements and these entities that exist to help provide that facilitation. So what's important that they've been there is that, again, they're there to engage opportunities for Haitians in those markets. And again, the Jamaican Stock Exchange is one of the more premier markets in the Caribbean, given that it is a formal, well-regulated stock exchange, right? That provides companies access to capital and provide Jamaicans and anybody really access to grow their money in a more structured, safe manner, right? So these are names to keep in mind of. I certainly will be working on trying to get in contact with some of these guys and see if we can have a story on Seejeanty about what they're doing, right? So look out for that, certainly. Right? So certainly a story worth sharing, and hats off to Jamaica for some of the things they've been doing and working on their side, right? Private sector, certainly one of the stories we're leading with and look forward to talk about is the fact that there's been some improvements in in some of the activities of those who are in positions to impact those activities. What does that mean? We have Patrick Bonifil, his partner Ovidio Roja, who, by the way, is the son of Renaud Bonifil, who is the president of High-Track. High-Track, of course, was one of the larger companies in Haiti, but one of the large companies out running one of the electricity power plants in Haiti. They, of course, were taken over when their plants were taken over, but yeah, they're not hurting. They're one of the largest, those who know what High-Track is, they're one of the larger commercial generator and construction rental companies in the country. And so they're not hurting by any account. So, but in any case, his Patrick Bonifil, son, has been pushing for massive development projects in agriculture, in particular in the north of Haiti. They've been working with smart producers to help modernize their farms, They have a goal of modernizing over 1,000 hectares, starting with a 50 hectare plot. They're working with smart producers um, and leveraging certain aspects. First, certainly, they're looking also to have a modern packaging center as well to help package, a lot of the agricultural crops that are coming in. Right now, a lot of them aren't packaged; they're just kind of tossed on the back of a truck and then they're resold. Um, uh, and working with large entities, USAID, IFC, to get funding to do some very important work that can certainly help grow the agricultural capacity of that area. We have Gonvier du Nord, in particular, and Limonade, also in du Nord, in the north of Haiti. And they're looking, banana plantains are the focus, right? But also looking to work with mango producers, avocado producers, sorghum producers, moringa honey producers to help facilitate and direct capital, right? Both financially and also hard mechanized instruments and tools to help them grow, help them um, be more productive, right? And then you purchase the products for them. And the goal here is really to export. The goal is to really fortify this network to allow them to much more efficiently, cleanly export their products out to the world market, in addition to much more effectively moving domestic products between these farms and associations to the cities currently. Right? So there's a lot of degradation of crops given the current way, very decentralized way things are currently being transported, right? And for folks who don't know, the way a lot of these things are transported is through mamaceras, who so farmers sell them to basically either mamaceras or middlemen who basically load up a camionette, just toss all the stuff in there, drive it down to the nearest city. Then they resell them to either depots, which is like basically small little roomed warehouses, which then turn around and sell them to mamaceras who work domestically. And this is the people when you're driving around Haiti, the women who are on the side of the street selling, sitting on a little bucket and selling you whatever. Those are ultimately the end retailers for a lot of these people. Sometimes it's just mamaceras themselves, the same mamaceras who transport these items from the farm. They then resell them and then to keep a small percentage for them to sell themselves and then go back up and go get a new load of farm crops to sell. But the problem is, of course, it's a very bootstrap method of moving product, and it's the amount of degradation and loss of crop it's pretty high, as you can imagine, right? Versus if you were to put it in an air conditioned cool truck, it's night and day, right? And this is of course sizable investments that's being done here. For example, they spent 200,000 USD to help fortify a seaside community in Limonade to help protect with some flooding issues that were happening and affecting crop yields and crop performance, right? And I mean, heck, they reported that they lost over 150,000 USD during the most recent protests period because of products just sitting in port, unable to move. The government was shut down, unable to get the necessary documentation to get it out of the country. So certainly this is an easy process. It's not a bootstrap process. This is one reason why I'm very optimistic about this is that it's a very formalized group of established players moving to do the right thing, right? One of the big things I guess you could say that Haiti has suffered for a long time has been an elite that really has only cared about the bottom line, and thus done ventures that are very focused on importing, right? And they just import the hell away of and without any effort to try to create industries that could sustain and export. Now, speaking with some of these people one-on-one, offline, these are very incredibly savvy financial managers, right? You can't be a savvy financial manager in a country like Haiti. You can't sustain wealth in a country like Haiti without being extremely savvy, viciously savvy would be the word I'd use. And when you have no government protections from making large investments, imagine you make a very large investment, and then the very next day, bandits show up, and the police are ineffective in protecting you, your employees, and your property. You wouldn't do that either, right? And let's be honest, the government being what it is, a lot of times their enemy is some magistrate or somebody at the tax office who feels you're making a lot of money and could sustain a very high corrupted bribe, right? So facing those two things, and versus just importing stuff, and you lose your product, whatever, but it's not a massive investment, hard capital. You would also make the same choice, right? And I think, and I expressed this many times before, Seejeanty, the elite anywhere and everywhere in the world are viciously savvy financial people who are interested in only growing their wealth. And what savvy governments do is they structure initiatives, tax law, and policy to have these viciously, financially savvy people do things that are simultaneously in the interest of the population as a whole. What does that mean? You have tax credit laws in America that incentivizes people to invest in finding oil and gas. You have tax incentives in the country that, in America, that incentivizes people to be entrepreneurs, right? The fact that you can file a loss of on your business, on your taxes of your business venture, and it lowers your overall tax liability, is a way for the government to incentivize entrepreneurship by saying, hey, we will share in your loss, right? We will take less taxes from you, i.e. we will lose money if you lose money, right? In the hopes that you continue to do entrepreneur ventures and eventually start making money so we can start making money, right? And that's just two quick examples. I can tell you Haitian tax law doesn't believe in that. Haitian tax law, they say, how much money you made? How many employees you have? Yeah, that's all we care about. You losing money, that's your business. Here's how much you owe, right? And that's Haitian tax law. Haitian tax law it depends not on your profit, like American tax, business tax law. Haitian tax law depends on your revenue, right? How much money did you make? Okay, give me that. Give me all that. That's how Haitian tax law works, right? So that's where I'm gonna end that. But certainly good news, and certainly news that we hope to continue to hear happen. Right, Master. There's been the next news story. It relates to Haitians returning from their studies. The USAID over many years, they went back as far as 25 years, invited 25 graduate recipients of theirs who have received scholarships to go to places like the University of Florida, to go to the places like LSU, University of Louisiana State University, LSU, and a lot of them have received degrees in agriculture. Right, we had one woman, her thesis project was, trying to leverage weather and data collection to help from watersheds and other places to help farmers better predict rainfall and plant in the upcoming seasons. Another woman who was her thesis was focused on empowering women farmers in particular, and another person who had a thesis and has worked in basically increasing access to education diplomas for those who are native, Haitian natives working in that field, because there is a connection between higher educated people and farm owners being able to get more out of their land and more out of their crops, right? So they did a symposium in Haiti. They invited these former graduates back. Did a symposium in Haiti at Hotel Caribe Convention Center. The name of the conference was called the Future Haiti Support for Agriculture Research and Development, and USAID was a sponsor, where these folks were able to present beyond panels and discuss their work and discuss ultimately how they could help Haiti if only Haiti would give them the opportunity to help them, right? If only Haiti, the Haitian government in particular, provided opportunities um, to help them reintegrate their skill sets and capacities. Some of them have. Some of them are working with the Minister of Agriculture and doing some work in Haiti. But a good amount of them aren't. A good amount of them are, we're able to leverage, you know, that opportunity to stay in America, right? And that's where they are, right? To the loss of Haiti, right? And so a lot of them were back for the first time for many years, and sort of that was one of the goals. One of the goals was to see what could be done to help get these folks back, right? And my final two news stories has to do with the passing of Dr. Jeannie Philippe, excuse me, Jeannie Philippe. She was 82, died of natural causes, right? But certainly she's a woman that needs to be talked about. She was someone who was very much involved in helping the medical welfare of Haiti, of Haitians. She was a woman who was part of the Mars and Kind Psychiatric Center, in particular as it relates to mental health. She was a mental health specialist, really. She also helped lead the National Center for Professional Orientation and Research. Additionally, she was head dean at the Faculty of Ethnology. Also, she was the executive president for many years of the Haitian Medical Association, in addition to helping really advance the practice of psychiatry in the branch of mental health, right? And in the country. Additionally, she was a prolific writer. Wrote countless articles and texts and books. In addition, she was a very active radio personality, usually talking about Haiti, Haitian welfare and what needs to be done to improve the Haitian state. Again, she was, and what's interesting about her was she was of the Haitian diaspora and decided to move back to the country to impact and help be a part of change. Unfortunately, it didn't happen in her lifetime. But certainly, it's people like that need to be. You need to know their names. So we need to know who they are, because these are folks that when you dedicate your life to help improve Haiti, helping that ball move, even though ever so slightly, it needs to be acknowledged, it needs to be appreciated. So, Dr. Jeannie Philippe, rest in peace. We appreciate you, and our prayers to your family. Okay. And finally, Mark Collat was awarded by Go.com Coach of the Year, right? Coach of the Year, right? Again, Mark Collat, the coach of Haiti's national federal football team. Of course, he had an incredible run last year with the Gold Cup, where I think it's self-evident, right? We beat some incredible teams. We lost very unfairly against Mexico in overtime, and some say we were robbed. It is what it is, right? But still, hats off to him winning that. And I certainly hope right now, Mark Collet, by the way, from Martinique, been the coach of Haiti, relatively brief. I don't think it's only been maybe 2 years, if that. He's been a coach, but he's been doing fantastic work. In 2017, I believe, he's been a coach of Haiti, but nonetheless. He's been there's been in contractual negotiations, so we certainly hope that Haiti, the Haitian Federation, to understand the incredible asset that they have in front of them and pay the man. I think we talked about this before. Pay the man. Find the money, pay the man. Because the amount of civic pride I saw of Haitians across the world, right? The fact that folks, we had rah-rahs in the streets in New York, in Brooklyn, Montreal. I can tell you, being in Haiti during some of these wins was incredible. The energy, man, it was like carnival all over, right? People were taking the streets. They were so happy, so jubilant, right? I mean, if this is important. I can tell you, it's as important as subsidized fuel for Haitians here in Haiti. And so I really would hope they did the right thing and make sure to do everything they can to keep Mark. Because Haiti needs to keep winning. It's just a very Haiti doesn't have too many positive things day to day, that to look forward to, and the energy Haitians put towards Brazil and Argentina. And I'm like, we have our own teams. If you know, it would be as awesome to see that, right? Not much of a business story. Technically, it is the economic impact too of having a strong national team. Also, you know, I can tell you a lot of people would go to Brazil just because, oh man, I love the Brazil soccer team. Let's go take a look at Brazil, right? that could work too for Haiti, right? Especially as we keep winning and rah-rahs keep happening in the streets. Folks are like, man, I wouldn't like this. I'd like to experience this in Haiti, right? So that's the news stories for today. Let's go ahead and take a look and see what folks are saying in the chats, right? Let's go take a look up. Just go scroll. Okay, there it is. Yep, no Barwin Court. Yeah, talking about my story with Labadzi. Contract was given to Red Stripe by the Haitian politician. Wow. Evie says the contract. So that you're telling me that Prestige could be there if you know, I mean, so the Haitian politician put his influence in getting Red Stripe there, but couldn't put his influence to get his no national beer on there. That is not surprising, very disheartening, right? If that is really the case, right? Liz Z says, I would have gotten back on the boat. It was a very short stay. I don't think we were on Haiti more than 4 hours, maybe 6 hours max, right? And by then I was on the boat for over two and a half days. So a little stir crazy. So I did want to, you know, be on the beach. And luckily for me, I already had visited that area. I went to Ilatortu last time I was there. Last time I went to Cap Haitien, and we took a boat out there. Me and my wife, and a good friend of ours, just hung out, had a great time there. So I already experienced it, luckily, the right way. With lots of prestige, believe me. But it was a great experience, right? Zip line, yeah, that's the word. That's the word I was looking for. Zip line. Thanks, Lawrence. Yeah, government contracts and lobbyists dictates who gets what. That's a shame. Thanks for that, Evie. They throw food away instead of giving to the homeless. I think you're talking about the port. That's another shame, right? I mean, there was a lot of food there, right? And I can tell you, a lot of that went uneaten. So that's also a bit of a shame. If you're talking about that. Prestige was bought by Heineken. And one thing that bothers me a little bit is how much Heineken has really pushed their beer into Haiti. I mean, they really pushed their beer into Haiti. I know last Burger Week, which they're a sponsor, they made it for those who are participating. I don't know if they gave them an extra incentive. I'm sure they did, to have them include combos that had Heineken beer instead of Prestige beer, which I get it. I mean, if you could come in the country, spend this money, you're going to do it to advance yourself, right? But it's very disheartening that our own national beer is being pushed aside for Heineken, which I don't know. I don't remember ever drinking Heineken. Heineken has never really been something like, I looked at it, I'm like, you know what I mean? I've never had Heineken. I just realized that. I'm gonna have to try it out. There's probably the reason why I've never had it. I've never been inspired to have it. But it is what it is. Okay. He was talking to Iraq Prince there. Let's see. Wild Video says, hey, have you any news about Haiti participating in FIT-ER 2020 Madrid? Most important tourism fair in the world. Haitian companies can make deals. You take it seriously. I know the Haitian government, the last one they participated was the Taiwan fair, which had some Haitian companies and a part. I certainly do hope Haiti participates in this, but it's really as big and impactful as you're saying. But again, I'm not the tourism minister. I don't know if that's going to happen. Certainly, if I was in the tourism domain, I personally, someone who's running my company, I would personally be there, independent of whatever the Haitian state is doing, right? Do you foresee Haiti having another protest like Feb 19? You know, it depends on what King Moise does, right? I think if King Moise will wake up tomorrow and says he's trying to raise gas prices again, uh, things could blow up again. I think right now there's an apathy and a fatigue in the general Haitian populace, especially a lot of the opposition who was leading this uh, realized that he wasn't going anywhere because the American government had said that. The American government said, "Yeah, he's not going anywhere. I don't, Joe King Moise is our boy, right? He votes against Venezuela. He keeps China away from influencing you guys. He does exactly what we want, and they're staying with Taiwan. So I don't know what y'all Haitian people are talking about, but Jovenel Moise is staying. So when it became clear to the opposition that Papa Sam was in Jovenel's corner, he wasn't going anywhere, that really did deflate considerably what the opposition was trying to do. And again, rightly or wrongly, King Moise went after who he perceived was the cause for the Haitian people being mad. It wasn't the good going down 40%. It wasn't the increase in insecurity. It wasn't the inflation 20% year over year. It wasn't the Petrocaribe, stuff. It wasn't him raising the gas prices. It wasn't any of that. His perception was the elites, in particular those in the electricity sector, causing paying people to hit the streets and riot. And he took over all the major private electricity companies that were being run by Seejeanty Power, High-Track, took them over as a sort of punishment to who he felt was behind things. And rightly or wrongly, maybe they were, right? Maybe they were, right? And now they lost a big income source to make desert, right? So rightly or wrongly, there's a little bit of truth in everything you hear in Haiti. Let's be clear, right? Everything you hear in Haiti has some truth to it, and the truth of that elites in Haiti do fund desert. There is truth in that, okay? The extent of which I'm not going to sit here and tell you. I'm not going to feed those sort of rumors, but the basic concept is true, right? And so rightly or wrongly, there might be less of that desert capacity happening, okay? So so to answer your question, I think it's a lower likelihood so long as King Moise doesn't do anything stupid, which he doesn't necessarily have a good track record of not doing stupid. So we're gonna see, right? Mark Billimer says, let me tell you something. Don't you think it makes much more sense to speak Creole to talk to everybody? Okay. All right. So great, Mark. I love when folks come in and ask that because I've talked about it many times, and I'll talk about it again, why English is spoken here. And reality, Mark, is that if you want Haiti news in Creole, mon frère, ou apil bagay, apil kote ou ka ale, ou ka ale Chipotle Lakay, ou ka voir Amérique, ou ka ale sou Aibobo Post, ou ka ale les Nouvelles pour liba yo direct, ou ka ale Haiti Libre, même là, il y a une émission, ou ka ale Radio Caraïbe, ou ka ale sur Métropole, ok? Bon, Dieu, ou ka ale plusieurs côtés. C'est pas le seul côté ici là qui ou ka recevoir nouvelle haïtien, mon frère. Ou comprenez moi, mais c'est pas que m'a pas capacité de parler créole. Même là, il y a un accent lourd, ou même capable parler. Ou comprenez qui connaît, ou ka recevoir bonne nouvelle qui rapport Haïti en anglais. Ou bien CNN qui a passé Haïti en bêtise. OK, ou bien Fox News, celle-là yo parle d'Haïti, c'est que on Haïti a perdu tête on gros catastrophe on va qui venir pour montrer un niveau pauvreté et saleté de Haïti. Bon, américain qui est très important pour nous parce qu'on nous ouais, ou pas ouais que c'est eux même qui veut Jovenel au pouvoir. Ou pas comprendre ça? Américain qui est important pour nous, il va un côté pour recevoir bagaille nouvelle d'Haïti, pas même ça nouvelle qui est très progressive. Il va un côté pour rejoindre lui. Je connais peut-être ou Haïti ou jamais quitter le pays, je connais peut-être d'autres haïtiens qui ne vont jamais quitter ou c'est Haïti. C'est bien, ma photo. But je dis comme Américain qui vivent là-bas, qui vivent ici, il va dire un côté, mon frère, qui me recevoir une nouvelle dans la langue préférable, moi, parce que c'est anglais, je grandis en anglais, et je toujours vécu dans le monde. Mais je vais recevoir une nouvelle qui m'a ba nous pour me recevoir. Je me dis, Mark, si vous voyez mon côté, voyez un link, un seul link, ok, qui m'a recevoir une nouvelle m'a là, ok, dans le style que m'a bail, un style qui est très focus sur business, par exemple, politique. Bon, mon côté, je journée comme ça, en anglais, a fait toute émission en anglais. D'abord, on connaît ce n'est pas on a grandi même 2 ou 3 fois plus rapide. Vous comprenez? Que ça m'a fait connaître. Je suis bien content de faire anglais. Même pas capable, parce qu'il va y côté ma qui me fait un service qui manquait pour Haïtiens, parce que Haïtiens, nous Chili, nous Brésil, nous Amérique, nous Canada, nous à tous les côtés. Mais qui est-ce qui a représenté nous? Mais oui, même les cœurs, là, c'est langue qui connecte nous tous, mais il y a beaucoup là-dedans. Mais le cœur n'est pas bon. Le n'est pas bon. Je préfère l'anglais. Par exemple, il y a plus de monde qui a quitté, il y a plus de jeunes haïtiens dans le pays là-bas. Ils ne pas à l'église encore, non? Vous comprenez ça? Parce que ils grandissent en anglais, mais moun qui dans l'église haïtienne, non, c'est français qui parle. Ah oui, je suis bon Dieu, je suis. What? And for me, that's why I wasn't interested in religion for so long. Because they're speaking a language, ils parlent une langue, ils ne m'ont pas compris. Est-ce que vous comprenez moi pour vous faire? Il y a besoin de côté qui est haïtien, beaucoup haïtien. Car c'est pas nouvelle en anglais, non langue que vous avez vraiment comprendre. En plus, il y a pile l'autre côté vous avez recevoir nouvelle en créole déjà. Vous avez côté vous avez recevoir nouvelle en anglais dans focus qui est. OK. So voilà, c'est la raison. Marc, merci pour la question. Hein. Très important. Chaque fois, on me demande, je prends le temps, je vais expliquer chaque fois, mais il est très important de comprendre ça. De comprendre que je fais une mission en anglais parce qu'il va écouter pour les gens qui parlent anglais, pour recevoir une nouvelle, de comprendre au niveau qui me parle, en réalité, comment les gens qui vivent là. OK? All right, Mark, thanks. Thanks for that, right? Get to flex my Creole, or at least allow people to laugh at me. Either way, that's why I don't speak it. I just had to break it down to Mark, who asked me to why I don't do it in Creole, and I basically said, listen, number one, there's no places online that I know of that breaks it down like the way I break it down in English, and it's needed, right? And there's a lot of places you can get you get a lot of places to get your news in Creole. You got Radio Metropole, you have countless. I mean, you just type in any Haitian news and you'll find countless, dozens of news sources in Creole. So go there. Leave me and my American English speakers to ourselves, because we want to understand things too, right? They want to understand things too, and that's why they're. And that's why I appreciate so many folks who consistently show up. And even when I'm late, they're like, "Chris, man, what's going on? Where you at, man? It's 11 a.m. What's going on?" So I do appreciate all you guys, right? And again, Mark, I do hope you stick around and share the stream. I'm sure there's people who you may not even know of who would also prefer to get some information, some content about Haiti in English. So I hope you stick around. I hope you share the stream here at 11 a.m. Sundays every week. Okay. Ma liberté financière, good to see you, brother. Happy you popped in. I was just saying, man, where's my guy? Ma liberté. Haven't seen him. Just saying hello. Can't stay. Watch the replay. Peace. Absolutely. We'll be in Haiti next year in the Southern Port. Hope the Southern Port will be calm. We'll see. We'll see what business can be done. Absolutely, I agree with you. Right? Je suis Creole is French. I understand everything you said. Je suis Creole is French. What? I think that's a joke there, but I'll roll with it. All right. So that's where we're gonna end it. Unlike last week, I was in a rush to get to the airport, but we were able to get here. To take our time per usual and really dissect the news. I appreciate everybody who commented today. You guys make the stream fun for me. You make it informative as well. Your comments, you guys are my co-hosts, and I think a lot of you guys show up for that, right? And so those who take time out there Sunday to be a part, wow, thank you for doing that. And those who watch it after the fact in full, double wow, thanks for that as well. I think you guys gained from this experience, and if you did, share it. It's really important. The conversation we had today, if you really feel that it was value added and you gained from it, please share it. That's how the mission here right now, as it stands right now, is to build the informational capital of our community, and you're helping with that, right? And the next step then will be to action, right? And action, for example, is like the group sort of thing that Evie was talking about, which is certainly on the docket of things to do, believe me. And of course, Seejeanty YouTube. I did a video last week, or was last week, maybe 2 weeks ago, with Pierre Stanley Baptiste, a great Renaissance man, doing some fantastic work, inspiring minds, writing books. So look out for that. This week is going to be, I'm back to schedule. Look out for weekly new videos on YouTube, Seejeanty on locations. Got a real cool one, with Startup Hub coming up this week. Really excited. I'm doing a little different style of shooting, almost documentary style a little bit this week. So I'm really looking forward to it, highlighting some really cool Haitian entrepreneurs, a good handful, showing what they got going on, their businesses. So do look out for that. I'm very, very excited. Oh, I can't wait to drop that video. So man, make sure your notifications are on. If you're already subscribed, make sure your notifications are on. If you haven't subscribed yet, you're just watching, hit that follow button, hit that subscribe button, depending where you're at, depending where you're watching this. Make sure to do that. All right, remember, HaitiBizNews.com. Again, HaitiBizNews.com. Haiti, BIZnews.com. I go out, the website comes, it automatically pulls articles, drops them related to business news and business environment, one-stop shop, so you can stay informed throughout the week with what's going on in the country, right? And I did that because I didn't see any other place online. I had to keep going to 20 different websites. And oh, I got time for that. Just one boom, all the information is there. You click it, you read the story, and then you can click one more, and you go to the actual website and support them, right? The actual writers and content creators, right? Do that. Do our articles that are really impactful. Make sure you do visit the actual site it's coming from. It's important to keep that ecosystem and ad revenue and stuff going for them, certainly, right? And yeah, I think that's a wrap. That's where we're gonna end it. Again, we're doing this Sundays, 11 a.m. ish. Ish. I try my best, but Haiti is unpredictable by nature. I just go with the one thing with Haiti. You'll learn when if you finally ever pull the trigger and do business here. You gotta first off learn to be patient and learn to be flexible. Otherwise, you're not gonna make it, right? And that's one who's been infinitely impatient and infinitely unflexible. Haiti has been a humbling experience, which I'm fine. As difficult it may be, being able to wake up and smell and know you're in Haiti, it's priceless. So listen, that's where we're gonna end it. Thank you everyone who's been on, and guys, until we're back at it again, we'll be back at it again. Peace.